Intro. Today, I'll be talking about iDubbbz, Anisa, and Creator Clash, as there's a lot that's been happening in this situation. For this story, you will need full context, or you at least will really want it, as this situation gets deeper and deeper with each episode. Luckily, I made a playlist for you all so you can watch all this series in order to get full context on the situation. It is truly an insane one that only gets weirder and weirder and might even make you mad. It might be the greatest example of watching something, hate watching it even. If you like videos like these, make sure to like and subscribe as I make videos on internet dramas, locales, and more. And with all that said, enjoy. Empty podcast. If y'all been watching the series, then you'd know that Anisa and Ian's failed podcast, which weirdly went from being in a room of its own with, all this setup and stuff, which, to be honest, the setup doesn't really look that great. It just looks dirty in a way. It just looks kind of not great at all. I don't know how else to explain besides it just does not look like a great setup. But it got even worse as now they are in an empty basement on the floor making their podcast episodes. I have no idea why, but this has been called out, and despite probably not doing much in life, they still haven't fixed this at all yet, as far as I know. I think these are all Patreon exclusive episodes as well, so I'll never figure out the full context as to why they're being this lazy or why they're doing this in general. Anisa probably was wanting a change of scenery or something of the sort, so they just moved everything and now they are stuck in this worse position. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Anisa's wrongdoings. So a lot has came out about Anisa's wrongdoings. Some old clips of her saying some really insane stuff and that has not aged well at all. One clip I'm going to be showing you for whatever reason is really laggy, so just be aware of that. But it's in defense of Lionmaker, a YouTuber who went to jail for, liking stuff that was, not M-rated to say.
Lionmaker, whatever his name was accused of, it gave me a lot of anxiety because I feel like a lot of it is based on a lot of fiction and not a lot of fact, and if the person really isn't as bad as people think it is, which most of the time they're not, then you're just watching people rip apart somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it as much as, I don't know, it's just sad seeing somebody get ripped apart that hard. Yeah, Leafy was one of them that was hard to watch getting ripped apart. Yeah, I haven't seen it, Googles, but I believe you, but I don't know it. Again, it's that's YouTube videos are okay, let me put it this way. YouTube videos are never sincere.
Well, Lionmaker went to jail. I urge everyone to check out Colossal is Crazy's interview with Lionmaker.
There's another clip I can't show because it has copyrighted music in it, but it was posted by Turkey Tom on his, and it's an old clip of Anisa talking about how she finds men crying unattractive, especially over stupid things, saying, quote, "It's a huge turnoff. It shows emotional weakness and questions how you're going to be able to handle serious issues. Crying over stupid stuff is a quick way to make a woman not like you." Then also it shows in the background, transparently, a clip of Ian crying from the content cop over the online quote harassment that they have been dealing with. She still hasn't deleted the clip of her boxing footage from the training partner from a while back that has been requested by that training partner to be deleted, but it has now been community noted. And that community note says, iDubbbz's former boxing coach alleges unpaid bonuses, being fired for reminding Ian of his dad, and politely asked Anisa to take down this training video. The dispute discussed on H3 Podcast also highlighted financial and management issues with Creator Clash, and then it links to a YouTube video, I'm guessing of the H3 Podcast. But she has actually now unpinned that tweet instead of just deleting it outright, and in exchange, she now has something towards Ethan as her pinned tweet, which I'll be talking about later and showing off later a bit more in detail. Speaking of the boxing, apparently this is supposed to be a picture of, quote, Gabe from the last video, where it was talked about that Anisa has a crush on Ian's sparring partner. And since we're talking about the possible cheating or acts towards or near cheating, I'll bring up a sensual post that she has on her of account where it shows a hand around her face and stuff, and it looks like Denim's hand. Denim, who I've talked about before in my stuff on H3, a girl that Anisa has talked highly of and is friends with and wanted to be in the streamer community with, another Hassan orbiter. The person that posted this said, "The picture on the left is from Anisa's of account. It's one of a collection of images in which Anisa is being bound in by a mysterious hand, and the picture on the right is from Denham's account around the same time. The only problem here is that Denham's had acrylic nails in the picture shown on the right, and on the left it looks like it's just painted nails, but you never know. As those don't actually look like a man's hands. I don't think those are Ian's hands at all. I feel like his would look a bit different. I don't think he has any hand tattoos specifically, and, you know, as seen in the photo, Denham's definitely doesn't. So it's kind of hard to say. There's already been rumors of Denham's and Anisa getting down with each other, so who really knows what's going on? Maybe they got their nails done together after the shoot. There's also other things that have been recorded by others. I don't know where they found this information or where they got it from, but it's basically about Anisa's treatment towards iDubbbz, and it says here, Anisa made iDubbbz go to the doctor to get prescription Adderall for ADHD that he doesn't have. Ian didn't get diagnosed with ADHD for the first time, so Anisa forced him to go back with her the second time so that she could argue for him why he has ADHD. Anisa tried to get iDubbbz diagnosed with cancer out of paranoia. What in the world? Cancer? That's absurd. I mean, you can go get checked and stuff, but I don't know. iDubbbz said he finds it hard to speak for himself whenever his wife isn't with him. That reminds me of the Poughkeepsie tapes. Very badly reminds me of the Poughkeepsie tapes. What in the world? Anisa once said she had a nightmare where Ian got her pregnant, which is such a big diss. Like, what? Like, there's, like, no happiness at all. It's a nightmare? Is it a nightmare that you'll have sex too? Anisa once forced iDubbbz to pull over on the highway so she could walk home because of an argument, which is just simply ridiculous. I don't know what the argument could be over either. I don't even have a joke right now, bro. I'm still so stuck on, like, the sex part. In her own words, Anisa said she goes, quote, 5-year-old mode / baby mode and throws temper tantrums whenever she and Ian fight, which shows what type of person she is even more. Anisa took her wedding ring off last time she went to Hassan Piker's house. That is insane, bro. You want Hassan Piker to beat it down? I feel like it's a micro that barely works, bro. I don't know. I just don't. Hassan Piker looks like one of those guys that has to compensate in every other way because he can't get it up. Maybe he's like Elon Musk. Anisa has said before she wishes that Chris Ray Gun was her boyfriend instead of iDubbbz, which is insane. I made a video on Chris Ray Gun before. He actually commented on that video as well, responding to someone, but that's pretty interesting to me to say that. I feel like Chris Ray Gun is more on that old iDubbbz views type of point than, you know, he is now. That is just absolutely insane. By the way, the picture showing Gabe and Ian is apparently like their wedding anniversary, like their 1-year wedding anniversary post, which is, you know, kind of dirty, bro. Leaving the post in there being like, oh yeah, you know, whatever. Billy Mitchell versus Ian and Anisa. Billy Mitchell, the dude in that one regular show episode, has randomly started making multiple tweets towards iDubbbz and Anisa, and here they are. This iDubbbz guy just can't catch a break. Every time I open this app, he's getting burned alive. Only one mentor can teach iDubbbz how to get a better woman, and I don't know who this guy is, so maybe y'all would get the reference. iDubbbz is lucky that he dealt with Sam Hyde and not me. Which, it's always funny whenever people bring up Sam Hyde and iDubbbz together, because, you know, he hates him that much. And Sam Hyde was basically the start of the fall of his career. And in a way, it was more of like a huge, like, pinpoint in the fall of his career. Billy Mitchell then goes on to say, Anisa and her husband feel the king's presence, as Anisa ended up blocking Billy Mitchell. And then Billy Mitchell also goes on to say, fine, I concede that iDubbbz's 2025 is officially an even bigger L than Carl Jobst, who he had to end up suing because I think Carl Jobst said, like, some false allegations about Billy Mitchell cheating in, like, Pac-Man or something like that. Then adds on saying, also, he finally did it, showing that iDubbbz also blocked Billy Mitchell as well. Like I said earlier, this was just a random beef that I guess is now done with, or Billy Mitchell might continue to roast Ian and Anisa from the other side of a blocked screen. Also, now Twitter has the thing where you can go back and look at their tweets even whenever you block them, or, you know, they have you blocked. So, I don't know how it works on the opposite end, like where you have blocked someone if you can go back and look at their tweets. But he can still comment basically on stuff. He just had to screenshot it. Ian and Anisa versus Ethan and Hila Klein. Anisa and H3 are still going back and forth online. There are a lot of clips to show of this situation and a multitude of H3's responses towards Anisa. But to start where we left off, Ethan says on his Instagram story this. Cringe. It's pretty clear by now that she, to put it charitably, has a problem with being honest. And it shows a Discord message from Anisa saying, my mind won't change. I came from a run, dealer, supplier, family guns were not meant to defend anything other than protect themselves from businesses from taking customers. And by that, I mean they killed the customer so they wouldn't buy. Which, this sentence doesn't really make sense. It seems like a lot of bad English. But I don't know about her backstory or her family, so apparently this is a lie, though. Next is Anisa retweeting a tweet talking about, like, oh, I want Tesla stock to go down more. And then the comments under it say, this looks like a graph of Ian's career trajectory since he met you. I love that Anisa is retweeting this stuff as a way to make herself feel better about being exposed recently. And you'll see this a lot, is that she'll get into drama, and then she'll start posting about her baking and stuff. She done that just recently. Ethan's next Instagram post is a screenshot of Yeet's tweet talking about how he got blocked by Anisa as well. And he says, flowers for you, my boy Yeet. Next is another Instagram story post where it shows a screenshot of Anisa talking about her Alberta vacation. And then one of the pictures is of Ian, but he looks so miserable. I might have shown this in my last one. But Ethan responds by showing off a picture of Ian just looking miserable, like the picture, but just more zoomed in. He does this again, but this time uses the I have never ever been happier picture. Basically a troll picture or meme that was used against Anisa in my last video, I'm pretty sure. Next post is by Ethan again, saying he's like the bank robber that is about to retire, but right before he does, his dumb, reckless, selfish partner talks him into doing one more job. And I could really see that, and I could really feel that as well in this picture. It does give off that vibe. Like, he looks tired. He looks really tired, actually. Before I read what Anisa said here, this is where they start going back and forth. H3 says, I've said this since the beginning, it feels like they want me to die. This is their goal unironically. And it's a post from the H3 Reddit by LiddyLou92, and it says, the heartbreaking reality Ethan has been warning us about. In the light of the devastating news about Michaela Raines, I felt compelled to say something. This is exactly the kind of tragic outcome Ethan has been warning about for years. The obsessive nature of these snark communities goes far beyond accountability. It's harassment, plain and simple, often disguised as activism. When people devote so much of their time and energy to tearing down others under the illusion of some moral crusade, it stops being commentary and becomes something more toxic and now deadly. Ethan has spoken many times about how these groups have tried to push him to the edge, stalking, calling CPS, twisting narratives, and trying to ruin his life. Anisa takes a screenshot of this and says, this is coming from the guy who literally said his goal is to harass me and Ian to the point of leaving the internet. Ethan responds saying, I did not quote literally say that. I said you guys should leave the internet after being totally disgraced financially and reputationally as a result of your own actions. Anisa, you participated in the CPS lie, and Ian justified it. You guys participated in snark. You have shouted them out and used posts from there. You're an evil, snark-brained loser. I'm defending myself against scumbags like you, cry bully. And then he adds up by saying, Anisa, open your books on Crater Clash 2. Did you pay for Denim's Frogan Hassan flight and hotel from charity money? Did they fly coach or business? How much did you spend on the before and after parties? H3 shows another post by the H3 Productions Reddit saying this, don't let Anisa gaslight you into thinking she didn't make the content cop. It's pretty obvious that this was 100% her idea, but for more evidence, Dad, the YouTuber, not my actual dad, which is kind of funny, is on the Locale podcast explaining his side of the Crater Clash. He mentioned once the content cop dropped, he texted Anisa if they had to drop it before the event, which she replied they had to. Why is she answering for her husband? Anisa then responds saying, I want to remind everyone I didn't make the content cop either, but he's talked about me non-stop in some sad attempts to feel some type of control. I didn't even say anything until quite a while after his creepy meltdowns, which I'm guessing he's talking about H3 from the last post I just shown you. And he says, funny, it seemed like you were really wanting credit after masterminding his videos, but now conveniently you don't want to be involved. At least you won't need to throw Ian under the bus this time, because he's still laying in the road from the last time, which is hilarious and kind of true. Like, he's basically been fed to the wolves here multiple times. Honestly, it does seem more like her idea in general, because it's against H3, who, and that entire content cop, you know, is around Hassan, Frogan, and all these other people that I don't think iDubbbz would really generally like to be around, and it's more of Anisa's idea. We've known for a long time that Anisa is the person that wanted to be a Hassan orbiter and be in that type of streaming sphere. Next is another response to that same tweet saying, was it your idea to say the N-word to Tana? Which I think that they admitted that it was Anisa's idea. I can't exactly remember. It was a while back. But they talked about how it was one of their ideas specifically. I'm pretty sure it was Anisa saying that they should go down to the event and like do all that stuff. So, and then he also goes back to the Anisa tweet where it says, "This is the literally coming from the guy who wanted to harass me and Ian to the point of leaving the internet." And he says, "It takes a special type of psychopath to play victim after what you did," showing a Instagram post or the Instagram post of Ian and Anisa flipping off the camera after the creation of Content Cop. You can see that she has the hat on and Ian has the entire fit. Some guy on Twitter says, "Can you post proof that you were being harassed by Ethan?" And Anisa just responds saying, "Your reply is proof." Like, could you imagine being like a fan of Anisa and Ian, right? Maybe you're on the edge. Maybe you're about to not be a fan of them anymore. Like, you're kind of questioning it. And someone asks for just simply proof, which, how hard is it to ask for proof? And then when you're just like, this is proof right here. You're proof right here. You're part of the harassment campaign. Whenever it's just someone asking a question, like, if there is genuine harassment, then you should be showing it. You know what I mean? But there isn't. There really isn't any harassment. They all started it. Ethan was on terms of thinking, hey, we are friends. Ethan responds saying by compelling stuff. Comment under an old post in 2024 saying, "People see an hour-long podcast and think they completely understood you and your relationship. Even for the internet, people have been particularly nasty to you. It can feel so painful to be hated on and misunderstood by so many. People that never met you. But I don't think it has anything to do with you. People hated you from the beginning because of what you represented as an extension of Ian. Him maturing and changing. They feel betrayed by him, and you are their scapegoat. It sucks that people won't just move on and accept the change, especially after the years. The only thing that really matters is how you guys feel about each other, and remembering as much as possible that everything you read online is just noise. It's not real. It's a few unwell people that obsess over you. And if you ever met them in real life, you know their opinion is worth exactly nothing to you. Love you guys." And Anisa then, like, for whatever reason, she uses that as her pinned tweet. I talked about the pinned tweet earlier, and that is now the pinned tweet, is that comment that H3 left. For whatever reason, H3 then says, "All you're showing is how much I cared and wanted to defend and see the best in my friends. The prevailing narrative at the time was that you guys were terrible people, not to be trusted, but I wasn't going to turn on my friends, even if that meant getting stuff for standing by you. Obviously, a lot has changed since then. I've learned a lot about you and things that I was purposely avoiding because I want to see the best in you. And when I was down and out and you had the opportunity to stand by me, you punched me in the gut as hard as you could. You chose short-term gain over a decade-long friendship. You dropped the Content Cop while I was live. You excused the CPS call. You laughed about the skulls. You accused me of hallucinating anti-Semitism. You crossed every single line there was. Ultimately, no matter how good of a friend I was, you still messed me over the first chance you got. You think this makes me look like a hypocrite, but it just makes you look like a giant piece of garbage, which you are." Anisa then responds saying, "Hi, Ethan. The whole point is you are accusing me of things my husband and or other people have done, which contradicts everything you wrote in this comment. I hope that helps." And then Ethan responds saying, "Is your defense, quote, I have nothing to do with it? Okay, let's examine that. You have been involved in every Content Cop. You were at Hassan's house during the filming of this sketch, flipping off the camera. Ian literally cites you in the video as Anisa is half Lebanese and half Irish, so she understands Israeli propaganda and oppression. You've been making snide remarks during this entire debacle, example, quote, inbred. You scolded Dad for leaving a nice comment. You argued with Harley behind the scenes about Zionism. So did Ian, or he admit to not knowing what that meant. You were caught in the Millhouse DMs. I don't know what that means. You were caught in the Denims chat. Private Twitter account got leaked of you talking stuff. Ian knows at least to shut up, but you're the only fool who continually engages with me, so obviously I'm talking to you, not Ian. The only thing this point proves is, again, how willing you are to throw Ian under the bus. Quote, I had nothing to do with it. Go after Ian, not me. Give me a break." And then he responds to the pinned tweet again saying, "But thanks for finally unpinning Kate's video, you callous, self-obsessed narcissist piece of garbage." So the back and forth wasn't as long as I think, but H3 did say a lot of stuff on the podcast on multiple different occasions, and here are those clips.
And then there's a new humiliation clip from Anisa.
Oh God!
You know, if I was,
we should watch it. We should watch it.
We're going to. If I was Ian and Anisa, I would just basically. People go, what's the end goal? Where do you end? What's the point of going after them and all this stuff? I'm not going. I'll tell you this: if I was Ian and Anisa, I would leave the internet and never come back.
Dope.
which is basically that's what accountability looks like at this point.
Yeah.
Do not regret at all.
That
things have
was
gone.
all I was thinking at the end of it. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna show their face after this.
Yeah. You know, the only people defending them is like these psychos, these psycho leftists who are like foaming at the mouth to call Kate like a lying B word about her sharing her story. I'm like, listen, I know y'all are snarkers, but that's not playing with anybody.
That is dark.
Remember one thing in your mind, a mantra, if you will, that will always give you comfort. Say to yourself, hey, at least I'm not iDubbbz. Thanks for watching, everybody. My heart goes out to you, Ian. Like,
call him up. Get Gabe on the horn.
I can call Ian. I don't think he's blocked me yet.
Oh, you're saying get Gabe on the phone?
Yeah.
You think Ian would answer if I called him?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I'll try. I'll call him.
I mean, I wouldn't do it on air, but I think you would.
No, I don't want to talk to him off air. I don't care about it. I literally calling to humiliate him. I despise him with my entire heart and soul. This man made a video. He had a chance to take something back, and he doubled down on the CPS coming to my house to take my children and break my family up. He said it was justified. He understood it. This man will never get a flake of sympathy from me. And I am so sorry that you're living in your own personal hell where your girlfriend basically on you every day. Looks such a good idea for a show I'm going to do over the break. Ethan Klein channel. Oh, you guys are going to love this. Reacting to every old content cop. And I'll tell you why.
You get banned.
Well, I'm gonna censor the. I'm not gonna do the N words and the F words and all that. I'll censor that part. But the reason is I was watching one of his old content cops, specifically the one about Jinx, and it's been, I don't know, a decade plus since I saw that video, and I was blown away by how racist that video was. And like homophobic, dropping slurs like crazy, and not funny at all. It was just, he was just very mean. Wait. And there was no jokes. My theory, seeing what Ian, how unfunny and bad he is now, is that maybe we were all just young and he was never funny. And so I'm going back to review the catalog and kind of reassess. Historically, Dan's coming over. Oh, Dan is passionate about this project because he's a day one iDubbbz hater, yeah?
Day one? Shout out to my day ones.
Not a fan of his work. I've never been a fan. Yeah. So going back, I think. Yeah.
You could call it what we do here is go back.
You might.
You should call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I'm going to call it? Content cop. See?
Content cop.
This is what actual funny looks like and sounds like.
Content cop.
Okay?
Yeah.
When you learn what a
stuff.
joke is, Ian, you go ahead and let me know and we can talk.
I don't know. I have thoughts.
Yeah, no, I doubt it.
That's a good question.
So I was shocked, and I think everyone would be shocked by just how insanely bad, awful it is. It's awful, you know. And the great irony of the Jinx one is Jinx was a guy who was mass reacting to stuff, and just he wasn't really adding anything. He was just stealing people's content and sitting there and watching and uploading it.
Okay.
And at the time, we're all like, "Yo, this is freebooting. This is theft. All this stuff." But now Ian's, all of his best friends on Twitch, Hassan, Denims, Frogan. I don't know what Sean the Black does. Is he on Twitch?
Wake up.
I don't know. I'm not just saying that to like.
I don't know.
I don't have an answer for you.
Well, anyway, this is what they do all day: is they steal content.
Like Sniper Wolf style? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Sniper Wolf. Yeah, like Sniper Wolf.
Okay. He spawns it in.
So I just find it interesting that now he's friends with these people.
Sean the Black is on Twitch. We've confirmed.
He is on Twitch.
Ethan, wake up.
To what capacity is he on Twitch?
I don't know what that question means.
Well, if anyone's watching, are you really there?
I see. I see.
If a streamer goes live on Twitch and there's no one to watch it, do they exist?
Deep question.
Thank you. I was really thinking about watching that Jinx one on the show. It is devastating. Like, you will never look at him the same.
Sounds fun.
Oh, and the other thing was, I was watching an interview with Ian, and he issued all of these apologies to people, but he never apologized directly to Jinx. And after watching that video, and now he's friends with all these people that he was criticizing him for, I feel like he owes Jinx a bigger apology than anyone other than Tana and the likes, because super mean, and now it's something that he apparently doesn't even have a problem with. You swung at me and you missed big time. And guess what?
Yes.
I've never been betrayed like this in my whole life by someone I cared about this closely. And then you had the audacity to come and make another video and justify CPS call. You endorse snark. You live snark. Again, you are elevating disgusting, hateful people who have spent their time harassing me and my family. Look at me. This is me. I win, you lose. And you will continue to lose, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not done. I'll never be done. I will never be done with you. That's how much you've betrayed me, and how much I want you to know how much you lose and I win. Do you understand, Anisa? And I'm not even talking to iDubbbz anymore. He's insignificant. He's gone. Anisa, you're the one. You're coming center stage. You're going to start streaming now. I want you to understand something.
Yes.
I am never going to be done. I will never be even.
What does that mean?
I'm talking about them, being interested in them, being, I'm fascinated by everything they're doing, right? The streaming, the whatever, the events.
You just mean you're never done making fun of them?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. There'll never be a point where I'm going to be like, I'm just saying, and this is for the audience too, because I want you guys to know, there will never be a point when I will say to myself, okay, it's time to move on from this. I want you to know that. You dropped that video when I was live, and you thought you were cute, you thought you were clever, you really had me. You came at me with the laziest slop that you've got my haters running around the internet talking about I'm right and you're wrong. You have managed to galvanize support for me, which is something I've not been able to do for myself, so thank you.
I don't even remember.
So anyway, so this is, I think, the breadcrumb she's laying. She's going to leave him. She's going to leave him within a year.
From this post?
Yes.
You're determining
I've been
that?
right about everything else I've said so far.
I mean, unfortunately, that is somewhat true.
Within a year, Anisa is going to leave Ian.
I mean, it could be.
She is starting to lay the breadcrumbs.
I mean, I guess that's not the biggest stretch. They don't seem like happy people,
Well, no, she's
cakes aside.
She is a complete, and I hate this phrase. I've avoided using this the whole time, but like it sucks that it sucks to admit that in this case, everything people seem to have thought and said about her is apparently true. And she is a succubus. And she's gotten everything she can get out of Ian. And he's a husk of a man. I mean, you can see it. He's basically she's puppeteering him. And, I guess in one final Hail Mary to try to ingratiate herself to Hassan's circle for her upcoming streaming career, she has completely destroyed any credibility that Ian has left. Within a year, she's going to divorce Ian. And you will continue to see breadcrumb posts from her like this. Oh, Ian didn't remember my birthday. Man. It's like I'm trying to compliment him oh, he's so sweet. But also, the subtext is that he didn't remember my birthday. And he couldn't even buy me this cheap, weird cake.
I don't know if this beef will ever calm down. It took a lot for the beef between Ethan and Keemstar to ever stop once it started, and I think now where Ethan's back on the come up, I would guess that something big has to happen to Anisa, like divorce or some huge L where she leaves the internet soon after, or maybe she just stops responding and gives some lame excuse as to why, like, I'm not wasting my time and energy on him, and like gives off a bunch of excuses or those big words that these type of Hassan orbiters like to use against Ethan. It's either that or Ethan is told to stop by YouTube like he got told before for the Keemstar and H3 like beef, but I don't see that happening for a while. The end of Creator Clash 3. Creator Clash had some updates to it before the final one. Some fighters dropped out. Myth announced that he is dropping out.
How is training for Creator Clash going? I guess I should also just come out and talk about that real quick while we're getting today started. I will no longer be participating in Creator Clash.
Some person named Peach Jars got added onto the roster out of nowhere, and I have no idea who she is or anything about her. I think Tubbo also pulled out at some point, but more importantly, Creator Clash 3 is now canceled. The post here says, we made the difficult decision to cancel Creator Clash. All existing pay-per-view ticket holders will receive automatic refunds, no action is required. While the event won't go ahead as planned, all funds raised so far will be donated to charity, and our fundraising efforts will continue in the months ahead. Thank you to all the fighters for their hard work and dedication, and to everyone who supported us over the years. We appreciate you. Thank you, the Creator Clash team. So, from what it sounds like, Creator Clash is completely done, and they're not coming back, and I hope that they do not. People over Creator Clash want to try to go somewhere else or make something else, then do that, but keep that Creator Clash name gone for good and forever. Here is Peach Jar's reaction to it, someone that just got into the event and then not long later got, basically booted. She says, man, LOL, $3,000 on an announcement video and paid for 2 months of training equipment and travel. The cancellation was supposed to be announced the next day I posted that, and they moved it back. The event wasn't even selling tickets. Salute emoji. Here are some clips of fighters actually reacting to this as well, as some spoke out.
It's not like 100% waste. It's not 100% waste. But yeah, I mean, it does feel a little shameless. There's a lot of time and effort. A lot of time and effort. A lot of days I woke up and I didn't want to do that. I did it for no reason. But, I mean, it is what it is.
One of the ladies that was also over the event spoke out as well. Here those are.
That document is not litigation, and it's not them trying to sue him. Essentially, Tyler, Froggy Fresh, was given $15,000 for training purposes. And for the record, I was not given that money. I don't know if anyone else was. I think it was effectively like a financial aid for him specifically, because I guess he requested it. I'm not entirely sure how that went down. Because he needed the help paying for training. I don't know how much money he spent. I don't think that I've spent $15,000 paying for my training or my meals. It certainly costs thousands of dollars, but I don't think I would have spent anywhere near $15,000. And what they did was send him a letter saying, hey, can we have the $15,000 back? The reason they did that was because now that he's no longer fighting because of breach of contract, he had to be replaced. That money that was given to him is just taken out of charity at this point. So essentially, they're not going to ask him for money he doesn't have. If he doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the money. And if he can't return it, the other clause was you can just keep it if you just stop talking about it, which I guess he's kind of said no to both options. That is not them trying to sue him. I think like that was an offer, but I don't think that's their way of being like, if you don't do these things, we're going to sue you. And at no point did they ever say that. But the $15,000 thing, again, is not them suing him for $15,000. That's them asking him if they can have the money that they loaned him back for the fight, because that money is being taken out of the charity directly, because that's how it works, right? They have to give money to the other fighter for training purposes. And if that's just $15,000 that they no longer have access to for somebody who's no longer participating in the fight, that is $15,000 wasted that otherwise would be going to one of these charities. So the dude is not being sued. Nobody is threatening to sue him. It's ultimately just being like, okay, if you have any of that money, can we put it towards the charity? If you have any left, rather than you just getting to keep it now that this has gone down. Chris said, hey, Alana, do you think you're going to win? I cannot wait to see it. running an event that was in that Tampa arena is so expensive. Those overhead costs are huge. So expensive because it's so big. And part of why it didn't raise money the second year, because again, obviously I asked them that before willing to even have anything to do with the third year. I was like, explain this to me. How did you this up and how are you going to prevent this from happening again? And it was really just that they used the exact same model that they used the first year and didn't expect it to not work the second year. Projections said that they would do the exact same thing and they didn't. It's a tough one to... Like, I wasn't happy about there being two parties. Like, I didn't feel good about that. I was like, we didn't raise money for charity and there were two parties? Really? This whole hotel? Really? But I guess, like, the idea is, like, when you do something like that, you're trying to get influencers to go and take photos, and then it raises money, and then the next year can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was many things I wasn't a huge fan of. But, so I donated they give you a reimbursement for Creator Clash. I didn't even know that when I signed on, but I donated my whole reimbursement to charity. I did a merch sale. I donated all proceeds from that to charity. I did everything that I could, but that's still, like, and that was me trying to feel better about it, but it still didn't, because it didn't give me back that time. So I was pretty pissed off at Creator Clash. And again, told them that. And I also, there was just, like, some handling stuff that, like, we didn't find out that it didn't raise money for charity for a pretty long time. Like, I think that maybe... I don't really know, maybe Ian and Anisa were, like, scared to tell us or something, but I didn't even find out through them. I found out through one of the other fighters, and I was like, what? I really feel like I should have known this. And so, I felt pretty bummed.
Multiple people respond in the community, and here are those. Wavy Websurf says, Anisa totally owned those incels. GG. H3 responded saying, I'm so proud of the legacy left behind, truly inspiring stuff. The Act Man says, imagine how much better all this would have been if Ian just allowed Sam Hyde to come to the first one. This event should have been about something bigger than their egos of the creators fighting, like donating to a noble cause. Instead, it turned into drama stuff show. Very sad. Willie Mac Show says, so all of the time and personal money creators put into this, money lost because they had to train instead of work, all went to waste. This entirely lands on Anisa and Ian. What losers. Harley Mornstein responded, this was, I think, a little bit before the announcement of the cancellation, and it says, it's crazy how today is the day I was supposed to be boxing in an arena with tens of thousands of empty seats. That's basically him, like, reminiscing because that was the date, the original date for Creator Clash. And then, you know, once this came out on July 7th, he says, well, it was fun while it lasted. People are acting like I'm the CIA and I toppled Creator Clash. In reality, I'm more of like a Richard Jewell who just pointed out the bombs. Anisa made several responses to this, and the first one here was saying, going to take this opportunity to promote the Stand Up to Cancer Tiltify link. Money can be still raised for charity. She then goes on to say, I'm once again asking what my ultimate sin was, aside from being married to the man who made the content cop on the quote, The King. Ethan doesn't know us as well as he claims, especially not me. He's knowledgeable about our private life as the average viewer. I've never mentioned CPS. I didn't appear in the content cop. I've only replied to Ethan privately with kindness despite him spam texting us deranged nonsense. His interference that I have any control over Ian's choices is from watching slop tubers parasocial ramblings. And I have only ever replied to Ethan privately with kindness. But you are publicly mean to him, so what is, like, you know, it's pretty hypocritical and counteractive to, you know, of course, just be nice to him in general. Be nice to each other in this situation. Wouldn't be as bad as it is, but you want to be down his throat so bad and want to make a hit piece on him. There's too much of a good argument that you were behind the content cop than you weren't behind the content cop. Slop tubers parasocial ramblings. No, I mean, there's like a lot of proof, and I think there's even, Ian talking himself about this stuff as well, and there's a lot of stuff that's came out about you two. So, I mean, it's not just slop tubers, it's you all saying it yourself. Ludwig also reacted to this in a clip of his own, and here's that clip before I show Anisa's response.
This has been dead for a while, and, like, on life support. You know, this has been in a vegetative state. So it is, I think, ultimately the right call that they canceled it. Because if they had gone through with it, I think it would have done so bad. Ethan Klein did it. Okay. I'm not trying to be controversial here. But I do think iDubbbz posting the content cop was one of the dumbest moves ever. Straight up. That was crazy. I think It was not considerate of how many other people would be dragged into the situation who don't give a and just want to fight. You know, make that video when Creator Clash isn't happening, I would say. That makes no sense to me. It did not help the event whatsoever. It hurt the event. Yeah, I mean, no one went to bat but Hassan for him. But like, also, Hassan's audience isn't watching boxing events. What is that? That's not, I don't know. At some point, you have to realize you're operating a business, and I mean, you have to make the call. Like, what's more important, is the business or you know, making the videos you want to make, which is like your own call to make. But anyway, I'm kind of sad about it. I won't lie.
She says, okay, I'm just going to come out and clear something up. Ian won't be happy I'm doing this, but I think we need more transparency. Ticket sales were abysmal. Promotion wasn't going how we hoped. Charity wasn't getting the numbers we wanted. We were promised a lot of things. A lot of things didn't happen. I take responsibility for trying to do it again. We shouldn't have, but I think we made the best out of the situation. No, the best thing to do was just not done another event. The charity got $225,000, and a lot of that was due to the buzz around Hassan supporting the charity. Yeah, so it wasn't really based off you all. It was based off Hassan's like group, which I think Ethan talked about and exposed that, like, someone did at least, that it wasn't really you all or the event itself. It was just mainly Hassan doing a charity stream, basically, and he raised like the most of that. Charity got money, the fighters got paid. Apparently not, because of what comes out soon in a minute, so this is a contradictory point. Things didn't work out. The content cop wasn't some sudden turning point. The interest in Creator Clash 3 was low. That's also debatable. I think that, yeah, people already knew that the event was going to fail before it even, like, as soon as it was announced, people were like, no, don't do this, please. And you all did it anyway, despite what everyone was telling you. And Creator Clash 3 was another pinpoint of, maybe not like the exact reason it fell, but it was definitely the final nail in the coffin. To clarify, I'm saying, quote, Ian won't be happy, to make it clear that this decision of making this public is my own and not his. I'm taking responsibility for this statement. Sorry for poor wording. Then also goes on to follow up saying, what's all the hubbub about? I'm so nice and sweet. Angel emoji with a picture of herself. And then another one saying, look, I'm even capable of smiling. How can you be mean to someone who can smile? Finger heart emoji, dog eyes emoji. This is like insane. It's a little bit kind of narcissistic. Some people are calling it out. Like, what was the point of this? I really don't know. Ian never responded to anything at all. I'm guessing he's either going to make a video about it, or he's just simply done with Twitter and responding to all of this. Dad, also known as Nathan Barnatt, who was in the first 2 Creator Clash events and was going to be in the third, made his own video talking about the situation, and even went on to Locale Live to talk to Keemstar and them about this. Here are some clips that came from the Locale Live podcast.
I'm in YouTube boxing, A, because it's fun, and I only have a few more years left in it because I'm getting older, and it's like something to do as a life achievement, and B, because it's the only thing that's kind of really giving me some cash, because like YouTube money is so low.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like a starving artist. But, you know, when I look back on it all, I'll be happy. I'm actually going to be applying to be a garbage man in LA in the next week. I have the website open on my browser over here.
What?
I need to make money, so I'm going to be a garbage man. I'm going to see if they'll like let me do it 2 days a week, but I have a feeling, because all the listings say like 40 hours a week. So I'm going to try to, I might film it too, and get some content out of it, I guess. Like maybe I can double it up.
How much do you get paid?
Cool. My whole thing for me is like, I'm 44. I have to box. The big reason I'm on this podcast right now is because I really want to fight on Misfits. I want to do Creator Clash 3. I'm talking to Mams yesterday. I'm trying so hard to get on the next event because I only have like this tiny window left to do this. I'm having these neck problems with a pinched nerve. I see spots now, like flashes a lot from sparring this year. And I'm like, oh my God, the window's closing. And my girlfriend, like, I really want to get a house, and I need these checks to like get that house. I want to get out of this safe and go move in a house with my girlfriend after I propose and to have a happy life. But I have to do it now. But at the same time, I don't think some of the stuff they have done has been the smartest either. Like putting out that video, I did say in a text to Anisa, I was like, couldn't have waited a couple months, like, and then she said it had to come out then because, but I understand that too, because it's like, all right, you're passionate, the time is now, I'm inspired, I'm going to make this, I want to respond to what has been said topically, if that's what you do and you do things that are topical, I get it. That's why you want to put it out. But you also have a conflict here because you have an event. And all these boxers like me, I would say, in a way, I'm an innocent bystander, and so are all these other boxers who are like,
I would agree.
Involved in the conversation. Like Harley and I get in here and we talk. But these other people don't, and they're like now suffering.
Exactly.
And they haven't said anything. And
exactly.
I feel bad for them. I will kind of go out and try to politely defend myself and defend the event because I love Creator Clash. I think it's amazing. The new people who are involved, they're all my friends. I love them. They're very successful people, and they know what they're doing. I think Creator Clash 3 is going to be great now that it has this new
because it's
start.
only about them. iDubbbz,
for a year.
Anisa,
great.
iDubbbz, Anisa, you care about your influencer boxers. You care about them so much. Give this guy 10 grand. Give this guy 10 grand.
No,
that's what I got
Give
paid.
Him $10,000.
That's what I got paid.
No, I'm serious.
Well, I'm going to get money for training.
I could help you out. Ethan could help you out. There's a million people that can help you out, right, Dad? But the person that owes you money for all your time and all your troubles is literally Anisa and iDubbbz. Give him 10 grand. Give him $10,000. He's been training for a year. He's went viral on Creator Clash 1, Creator Clash 2. This guy has taken so much just because of your mistakes, because he's the poster boy. He's the guy that goes viral, right? He's the guy that helped build Creator Clash. And now he's over here suffering. Well, this give him $10,000. I demand $10,000 for Nathan Barnatt, aka Dadbot. I demand it. Yeah. I absolutely demand it. It's ridiculous.
I don't want money that it's not. I don't want people just to give me money.
It's ridiculous.
Everyone did the same thing. I trained. I fought. I did my fight. I did promotion. I happened to go viral. It's not. I can't control that.
It's insane. We just need to make this content cop so bad, even though it's going to completely f you over. And then they're going to preach that they care so much about these influencers. You know what I got when they're telling people I don't care about Wings or Boogie, but I gave them 10 grand.
Well, I did say in a text to Anisa, I was like, couldn't have waited a couple months, like, and then she said it had to come out then but I understand that too, because it's like, all right, you're passionate. The time is now. I'm inspired. I'm going to make this. I want to respond to what has been said topically.
Nathan made a video on his own channel talking about this situation as well. One of the clips talks about going broke to keep on training for Creator Clash 2 and 3.
Now, to begin, I'm really bummed that the event isn't happening, and I'm now here making this video when for so long I tried very hard to not be negative and not jump in on all the negative talk going on surrounding the event. I tried to be a very positive person publicly and promote the event and ignore all the stuff that was going on. But now it's not happening anymore. So it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to say everything I've been thinking. I don't like talking about the money and the payments and complaining about that. But Creator Clash 2 and 3 have genuinely put me into a bad spot financially. The first 2 years at Creator Clash, we got $20,000. Every fighter gets $20,000 to cover your coach, protein, food, gym memberships, training. The first year, I saved a lot of money with the way I trained. Year 2 comes around. I'm now living back in LA. I wanted to work with my coach, who is still in Portland. So in order to do that, I got like an Airbnb for a couple of months. So anyway, I spent all the $20,000 on promo, food, gym, training, and then I get back to LA after Creator Clash and I have nothing because I was expecting a bonus. The reason I spent all $20,000 that year was because this person tells me it's going to be bigger and better, which it looked like it was shaping up to be. Pausing for a moment to give an editor's note. I might do this a few times throughout the video as I'm going through it just to clarify and people understand exactly what I'm saying. When I say this person I'm talking to, I'm purposely not saying the name of the person. It's not Ian or Anisa. It's people who work for the event, for the promotion company, the PR company, or Real Good Touring. So there's a lot of people who we're talking to. At this point, I'm talking about someone who works for the event that I don't want to publicly expose. And then I'll just take that $30,000 or $40,000 bonus. It'll be amazing. I'll get an actual paycheck. One more pause real quick. When I say $30,000 or $40,000 here regarding what I could potentially earn for the bonus for Creator Clash 2, that was purely speculation on my point. Since I earned $27,000 at Creator Clash 1, it's a bigger event. I'm thinking, okay, I'll earn possibly $40,000. So no one ever said that number to me. I'm just speculating, since it would be more possibly and probably than $27,000 from year 1. When we get back from Florida after Creator Clash 2, we were at Marisha Ray's house, and she was having a party, and there is where Anisa told me, hey, there's no bonus. We didn't get any money from the pay-per-view. People like pirated it. There was people in Discords with 30,000 people watching it for free. So there was no money left over for the fighters to have a bonus. And it's kind of like, I feel like Clark Griswold in a way, where like I'm banking on that Christmas bonus and then I don't get it. Well, this year, year 3, I get on the phone and I talked for an hour. And I was like, I really don't know if I want to do this. What I was told by this person, yes, you're probably going to make a check this time. A ton of people are going to watch it. The mistakes were learned from year 2. Well, now look at where we are. It was even worse than year 2. Clash 3 this year didn't pay us the $20,000. They paid us the first 2 years. We were offered $15,000 this year. Then I heard through Harley, LA Beast got the 15 and then additional 7,000. And I was like, what the heck, dude? I just talked on the phone for an hour months ago and got convinced to do this because I was told everyone was getting paid the same thing. Now someone's getting 7,000. I reached out, I was like, can I get that 7,000? Answer was no. Answer was, okay, we can get you a brand deal. That's not happening now. LA Beats makes more than us. He makes out with more money. I'm in 3 of these freaking things. And I'm not blaming LA Beast. He got what he got because he asked for it. Why the heck did I not get it when I asked for it in the very, very beginning before the thing was even announced?
Despite Creator Clash being done, he is going to continue to box despite his age, which I think is pretty interesting as this man is 44 years old and is still going to be getting into the ring.
Good news is you will be able to see me fight at some point. I have been talking to Misfits Boxing. It will happen some point this year. I'm guessing around the fall. So there's that.
He took a gamble, but it didn't really work out. On top of the event being poorly held and him deserving the bonus, him thinking that Creator Clash 3 was going to work was a very bad idea anyway, as everyone online was already against the idea of Creator Clash 3 and was warning everyone it was going to fail. He also talks about how he learned that the content cop was actually coming, saying this.
Then I go camping. People on the internet were talking about this camping trip. The trip was set up by my coach as something he wanted to do in his life. He likes camping. And he thought, hey, you and Ren from Corridor and I trained together. Ian's like, hey, I want to come. Ian came down from Seattle. He joined us. Odd Ones Out was there. Alex Ernst was there. Steven, another YouTube boxer, she was there. It was a bunch of us. On this camping trip is where Ian tells me, hey, I'm doing another content cop. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he goes, yeah, it's on Ethan. And I was like, Ethan Klein? And he said, yeah, it's on Ethan Klein. And I thought, oh, no, why would you do that? The reason I was so concerned by this, Ethan and I had a very big misunderstanding for Creator Clash 2 with our promotion for the fight. I'm not going to tell this story again. I've told it in the past, but like everything's fine with Ethan and I. It's all done. We've talked and we've messaged and we're all good. So when Ethan and I made up, I was so relieved. This like huge weight came off my shoulders. I was like, okay, I'm not at odds with somebody. Then Ian tells me, before Creator Clash 3 is about to happen, oh, I'm putting out a hit piece on Ethan Klein. And I'm thinking, oh my God, dude. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to cause trouble? Because now I'm thinking, this is going to ruin Creator Clash 3 and I'm going to get screwed again. Yes, I can tell him I'm concerned. I truly thought it was a work. It was like a WWE promo thing where like they were going to have a fake feud. They were going to make up right before Creator Clash 3. Genius promotion. I watch a lot of wrestling though, so I probably was thinking incorrectly because that wasn't the case at all. It was a real beef. I don't keep my ear to the ground when it comes to YouTube drama. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's mad at who, and I don't care and I don't want to know. I wish it was back in the 2010 days and everyone was doing sketches and stupid characters and we lived in simpler times watching someone talk about a Game Boy Advance game.
I will say, if you're new here, please subscribe and check out my new talk show that's filmed here in this television studio. Top of the line production quality going on in here, and I love doing it. And you can be an audience member. You can call in and you can talk to me and be on the show. So Ian and I are walking around getting firewood, and he's like, yeah, Ethan said a bunch of stuff about me and Anisa, and I need to respond to him, so I'm going to make a content cop. He puts the thing out, and he screws every single person. He screws Real Good Touring, all the business professionals who are making this event with him. He screws me. He screws every other boxer. Everyone was screwed from Ian's dumb video because he couldn't wait 2 months. And here's the thing. I'm not going to tell someone what to make. Even though I don't like drama and negative content, it's not my place to do that. So I chose not to do that. At some point after the content cop video, my friend Yoda talks to me and says, all this crazy stuff's going on with Ethan from H3. Child Services is being called on him. He's getting human skulls mailed to his house. I didn't know what any of that was about, but I felt bad for him because it sounded insane. So I went to an H3 live stream and donated $20 and left a comment to try and say something positive. I also said I was bummed about the content cop video and confused on how to move forward. Now, I'd like to clarify why I did this. I could have just DM'd Ethan on Instagram to say, hey, I hope you're doing well. But I hadn't talked to him in like a year, and I didn't know if he was going to respond to me. Also, I really wanted to publicly say, hey, this video is kind of weird in a simple way. When I said we're all kind of confused by this, I was sharing the sentiment of a few fighters that were genuinely confused as to why Ian and Anisa made this video when we all have an event coming out. So all the fighters had been very quiet and were like afraid to talk about things. So I thought if I made this donation, I could say in a sort of friendly way, hey, yeah, we kind of think this is weird. Hopefully it all blows over. I wasn't trying to insult Ian or Anisa, but I was just addressing the obvious that yes, this is awkward now. I'm sorry. And I felt that was not an unfair thing to do. Then the next day, Anisa texts me a screen grab of my donation, and she says, is this real? Anisa took that as I was supporting her enemy that she has chosen, by the way. Ethan and H3 are not my enemy. So then Anisa makes me feel guilty and bad for what I thought was a nice thing. And she's like, oh, I can't believe you would do that. I'm 44 freaking years old. This is childhood, high school garbage. What the heck are you doing? I was texting Yoda, my friend, about this, and I said, I think I'm gonna walk. I'm not dealing with her. I can't do this right now. I almost quit when she called me because Harley was out. I was talking to Harley. Harley was talking about his frustrations. I was saying, yeah, Anisa just called me. She tells me, this really hurts us that you would say this. Because in the donation, I said, this is really confusing for all of us. I don't know why they put that video out. It hurts you that I said I'm confused why you're ruining the event? What are you talking about? It hurts you more that you put your video out, not me being upset about it. Oh, I burned a building down. Now everyone's complaining, and it really hurts me that everyone's complaining about my fire I caused. What the heck are you talking about? She acted surprised that I made that comment on the H3 stream when she said, but Ian told you he was making that video on the camping trip. But just because he told me he was making a dumb video doesn't mean I should just automatically be okay with it because I heard about it beforehand. I can still think it's a dumb idea to put out when you're simultaneously putting on an event that's supposed to be non-political and not tied to any drama. Now at this point, online, all anyone is talking about is how Creator Clash is failing and it's a disaster. So I thought in order to combat some of this negativity and maybe try to sway some people into having some sympathy for the fighters and maybe put a positive spin on all this and get people motivated to support the event, I thought I would go on Keemstar's podcast. And Keemstar has an audience who actually watches YouTube boxing. But before I could go on the podcast, Ian saw a thumbnail Keem posted with my face on it saying I was going on his podcast. So Ian calls me and says, we'd rather you not go on his podcast because we don't know what he's going to say. I said to Ian, it doesn't really matter what Keemstar says because he's going to talk trash about the event regardless.
whether I go on the podcast or not. If I go on, maybe I could at least combat that and try to sway some people and defend the event and make people kind of feel some sympathy for me and the other fighters and possibly turn the tides and get people to come around on this. Ultimately, I told Ian I wouldn't go on the podcast because now I'm thinking I'm rocking the boat. I don't want to make people upset. I don't want to get Ian and Anisa to kick me off Creator Clash because I'm being controversial or I'm stirring the pot and causing problems. I really didn't want to get kicked off. And I also didn't want Anisa to call me and get after me again for doing something that she didn't like. I thought this was too risky for me and I was jeopardizing my own stance in position in this event. So I said, fine, I won't go on the podcast. But the whole time I'm thinking, I really do want to do this. I want to go on there and talk to Keemstar and try to promote the event and face all this criticism and try to do some damage control because no one was doing that. But I did also get injured that day in sparring. My arm went numb, which is a thing that happens sometimes when I got hit. So I had to go to the doctor. So it was probably for the best that I went and got that checked out. But I did say to Keemstar, I would like to come on the show later and talk about this because it was something I wanted to do because nobody else was doing any damage control for this event. Now, every fighter in Creator Clash 3 was offered $15,000 to cover their fight training, except for LA Beast, who I guess got $7,000 additional because he said his training cost more than that. I don't know if anyone else got additional money. As far as I've been told by the event, he was the only one. Regardless, when the event got postponed, they offered everyone an additional $10,000 as an extension to extend your training until October. A lot of people couldn't do the event now because it was getting extended. Myth dropped out, LA Beast dropped out, Freddie Wong dropped out. I didn't drop out. I thought about it. I thought, is this worth doing? And then ultimately I thought, I really want to box. I've been training for so long. I don't want to stop this and I want the event to happen and I really want to get in that ring a third time. Also, that $10,000 will help me out. In addition to that $10,000 extension dollars, I was going to get now a cut of Ian and Anisa's 34% that they were going to get paid. But since they've dropped out, all that money will go to the fighters. I'm thinking this is great. And on top of that, I would also potentially get a bonus check after the event sells out. They'll split up extra money with all the fighters. So I'd get 3 types of payment. I'll get that $10,000 extension and then the 2 bonus checks, we'll call them. But now that the event has been canceled, I'm not getting that extra money. I'm not getting that $10,000, even though I did some of the extra training because the event's canceled now and it's just over and there's just no more money. And it's really messing me up and it's really hard for me to be okay with this. That's why I'm making this stupid video because I'm upset. It sucks. I put my heart into this. I got freaking beat hard this year, harder than I ever had. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to train like a freaking professional. Keep my head down, avoid this drama, and now here I am, screwed.
At this point, I just started getting too worked up, so I'm now just ending the video. When I filmed this, I just sort of spilled my guts and got kind of worked up. Then I remembered more things I wanted to say, and I tried to compose myself a little bit better, so the video's a bit wild. The last thing I want to say is that I always tried to be respectful of them, publicly and personally, when I was talking to them. I've always given them the benefit of the doubt and never really wanted to place blame on them or anyone. And then it turns out they were just talking trash about me behind my back. Ian's coach said on H3 that they used to say I was weird and talk trash about me, and then I also heard the same thing from Froggy Fresh 2 years ago. I don't care if people think I'm weird because I do make weird videos. I like being different and unique. I'm used to people saying I'm weird. I was just very surprised that it was happening by 2 other creative people. I thought they were like me, and I didn't expect them to make fun of me for being different. I thought that was the point of Creator Clash, was to gather the unique people and put them in a boxing ring. I guess not.
So there you go. That's everything. That's my side of things, and that's how I feel.
I like how honest Nathan is here with everything, but I do think that even before the content cop, the event was screwed, but the content cop makes a better excuse for it. I think that works in Anisa and Ian's favor as much as it does against them. Because if they failed without the content cop, then the blame would be solely on them, compared to if she waited to drop the content cop later. But what Anisa did, stepping in and asking the kind words said towards Ethan about their situation, is so insane and shows how much they don't like Ethan. I get not wanting people who you are hiring or associating with to be friends with someone you don't like, but the entire drama between Ian, Anisa, and the H3 team is stupid in the first place, and you gotta realize that it is your own separate fight and feud and not everyone else's. Not everyone else is going to hate H3 as well. Not everyone's going to be like that one annoying girl that was like, I think it's just showing that, mourning a friend that they used to know. Nathan made a good point. Some of these guys don't want to be in drama or connect to it. Some of these people even actively try to talk out dramas like, they should have done beforehand, that they should have done a long time ago with Ian and Anisa and H3. Nathan Barnatt actually seems like a smart and genuine dude, and I get it. You are down on money because of the event, and you still want to do it and thought, maybe you were going to get money back from this event. I get it. He calls his videos stupid at the end, but we need more videos like this to come out from the people who had to deal with this situation, especially people like Nathan who have been around since the very beginning and were about to do a trilogy, but, had to experience all this nonsense. Situations like this have to be super painful, and this shows the side that isn't talked about as much really, which is the side of the fighters and the treatment that they had to deal with behind the scenes. And I think that needs to be talked about more. I want to see people like Harley talk about it and others, but I guess we'll have to see in the future. Anisa also responded to Nathan's video saying this: I just want to make it clear that we haven't had any contact or control since we publicly stepped down. Even though me and Ian were the faces of the event, many people were behind the scenes making decisions together. The event wasn't doing well way before the content cop. A combo of things contributed to that reality, including lack of promotion, influencer boxing being less popular, the economy, etc. I think what it boils down to is poor communication from everyone, even after we left, which is unfortunate. At the end of the day, I care about people getting paid for the money they were out of for training and charity getting their money, and both of those things were done. And apparently not, because I don't think Nathan, this video from Nathan was made just like a day or two ago, right? So he actually really needs that money. He needs that extra 10K, and there needs to be a statement if he gets that 10K or not, which I don't think there has been. She also goes on to say, I really love this event. I loved what it stood for, and I wanted to believe we could push through, but it just wasn't realistic. None of this was malicious. H3 responded to this saying, paying Lena the 15K you owe her would go a long way. So she hasn't actually, paid people off. She hasn't paid fighters off at all. And, that's ridiculous. What is going on there to where you're not, you're saying, oh, we paid everyone off, we did everything, we filled out our obligations, but you didn't. Because fighters still need to be paid. Even though Ethan already paid that 15 grand, it looks like Dad also needs 10 grand anyway, or just extra money in general. It's ridiculous. End. Before I end the video off, I always like to show some memes from the situation, and here are some. First is by Samuel, showing a tweet from Anisa saying, I'm excited to announce that I will be back to streaming once we are back from our vacation. Salute emoji. Samuel says, my favorite streamer, Anisa Jahoma, is returning to streaming. I think is amazing news because her and iDubbbz have had no controversy recently, so the stream should run smoothly and have a large positive audience. Which is a good point. Why would you return to streaming whenever all this stuff is going down? It just seems like a super bad idea, and it's like you're asking for that negative attention to hit you and your Twitch chat. So I don't know, it's just a bad idea in general. Next is by h3h3productions parody account, which this parody account has gotten me so many times. I think it's actually Ethan tweeting, and it's just a parody account. It gets me so much. But this is funny. It says, my good friend iDubbbz, in the ultimate act of friendship, has blocked me. Is this means for a lawsuit? I believe so. At least Anisa is kind enough to keep me around. Let's hope you can say the same about her soon. Which is insane. That is an insane comeback. Also, it's just funny that he got blocked in general. I fall for that dude's tweets a lot. Even after looking, because the handle is so close. Next is by the Willie Mack Show, showing a difference between how Anisa tweets and stuff. And it says, Ethan stands up for his wife when the internet goes after her, and Hila defends her husband. Ian does nothing as Anisa throws Ian under the bus. Just an observation. The last thing here is by Nicholas DiOrio, and this might be something that I might do a poll on, maybe do a poll or two on my YouTube, which I haven't done those in a while. But to go on, it says iDubbbz 2026 is a existence poll. Divorce arc or polyamorous arc? The final results from 9,315 votes were 52.3% of people saying polyamorous arc. So basically, maybe Gabe gets to actually get some action with Anisa. I honestly think that divorce is soon, but I guess we'll see. But that's all I got for now. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below. It is insane that they just let this charity event crash, burn, and die. People talk about how Anisa doesn't get enough hate due to how she responds and tweets in general. I think it's insane how they kind of were honest as to what was going on and why it failed. Because, you know, it didn't have much hype in the first place. It wasn't wanted in the first place, and they decided to do it anyway. But at the same time, she's kind of not honest as well, as she says, like, the content cop wasn't the reason why. I think the content cop was just the nail in the coffin along with everything else. But I wonder, do you all think Anisa and Ian will get divorced soon? And who will be like the first to throw the divorce papers? It's been talked about recently a lot. It was talked about in H3 in one of the clips I shown, and just in that last meme I showed you all. I think everyone is talking about it online as well. I think the conversation between each other will start quickly behind the scenes since it's been talked about online a lot. Anisa isn't really a good person in the first place, and I think, like, you know, someone described it as a two-parasited relationship where they feed off of each other, and that just doesn't work. And I think that's true for the most part. I think they're just not meant to be. Or maybe Anisa needs to change wildly, and Ian needs to also do some self-reflection and stuff like that. But thank y'all for watching and the support. If you haven't watched the full series, it is linked in the description below, and I heavily recommend it. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, as I do videos on internet dramas, lolcows, and more. I just made a video on the creepy TikTok family again. I'm also going to make a playlist for them as well, which I probably will have by the time this video is out. But make sure to go check out those videos as well. Follow my Twitter as linked in the description below. And in the end, I'm PERK30, and keep God close.
I don't know. I don't think that I wouldn't do this anymore.
Why?
Because I don't know what you want